And I'm starting to wonder if it's going to make a massive impact on his boxing career. What just happened?
Now it's how insulted you are, or how triggered you are, how you're going to react to that. Are you going to let a man mug you off, call you a dog to your face? How are you going to react? Are you going to come back with some facts? Are you going to come back with violence? You don't know. So I want to see how that
Moses Itauma in serious condition after Jermaine Franklin attacks him backstage after loss. Reports suggest tensions boiled over immediately after Franklin's defeat. After refusing to accept the loss, Franklin allegedly confronted Moses Itauma backstage, leading to a sudden physical altercation. Sources say Itauma was left injured and quickly taken for medical attention, sparking serious concern around his condition following the incident.
In the back, the doctor will let us call the ambulance.
Frank Warren explains that after the incident, doctors immediately examined Moses Itauma and provided medication to stabilize him. However, the treatment had to be carefully reviewed to ensure none of the ingredients were on any restricted list, highlighting how seriously the situation was being handled behind the scenes, with medical protocols fully followed for safety.
Doctor examined him, gave him some medication, but the medication he gave him, it obviously had to be checked that it didn't.
The Wade concept questions what just unfolded, saying it probably shouldn't be happening after such a situation. He admits he's no doctor, but still raises concern over a possible underlying issue. At the same time, tensions reportedly rose after Jermaine Franklin reacted angrily to his loss, refusing to accept defeat and allegedly escalating the situation further, raising doubts about control and professionalism.
Probably shouldn't be doing that, right? There he goes again. Now again, I'm no doctor. I don't know, but it does seem like that's a bit of an issue. And of course,
Jermaine Franklin expresses clear frustration after the fight, saying he doesn't feel any respect because he wasn't truly hurt in the exchanges. He insists that although Itauma can punch, the power didn't affect him enough to earn respect. Franklin goes further, claiming he wasn't fazed at all and even suggesting the result was a robbery.
No, I don't respect shit. You gotta hurt me for real. If you hurt me, then I respect it. But I didn't feel like he hurt me good enough for me to, respect any power. So, I mean, he can hit, but I'm not saying he's weak or anything, but I wasn't hurt, I wasn't fazed.
The Wade concept reacts to the stoppage, saying Franklin was clearly not fit to continue and the referee made the right call. He dismisses Franklin's complaints, suggesting it may be frustration talking. He praises Moses Itauma's performance, saying he looks like a huge future star with massive potential in the heavyweight division.
The stoppage, I don't know how that happens. He was clearly not fit to fight anymore, and it was going to get worse. I just don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. So that could have just been sour grapes, talking about the referee stopped it too early. But Moses Itauma, what a performance. I can't say enough about how excited I am for this kid, and he's got the world in the palm of his hand.
Carl Frosch describes how Jermaine Franklin was completely gone in the moment, saying he was out on his feet before the referee stepped in. He explains the jab and follow-up shots from Itauma were enough to finish him. Frosch praises the stoppage and calls it a fantastic knockout against a durable opponent.
And Itauma sort of like put a half jab right hand in his southpaw, so it was a jab, and just sort of knocked him over. Steve Gray, the referee, was just a split second too late. Not his fault. He saw what was happening. He jumped in to stop the fight. And it was gone. Jermaine Franklin took that uppercut. It just totally took his soul. He was gone. He was out on his feet. Don't know how he didn't fall over. And Itauma just put a little jab into him, a little stiff jab, knocked him over, face first. He was gone out cold. And what a fantastic knockout and stoppage against somebody who's never been.
Johnny Nelson highlights Moses Itauma's composure and sharp focus throughout the fight, saying he never lost his rhythm even when Franklin posed danger early on. He praises Itauma's feints, especially the body dummies that created openings for clean shots. Nelson notes Franklin's frustration growing as Itauma's speed and accuracy overwhelmed him, adding that his footwork, timing, and hand speed were all on point and levels above.
At points, you thought Franklin is gonna test him a bit. He's a bit tricky, but Moses stayed focused, stayed on it, stayed on point, and there was that danger from Franklin there. But Moses dummied. I love how he dummied with the body, dropped the shots in, solid shots in from the sides of the guy, to the point where Franklin, you could see on his face thinking, "Shit, what am I going to do with this? This man's too fast. And Franklin was fast in a couple of his reactions. But Moses, footwork great, hand speed great, on point.
Ade Oladipo discusses Jermaine Franklin's reaction after the stoppage, noting his team were extremely upset and felt the fight was ended too soon. However, Oladipo explains that upon reviewing the action, it clearly looked like a correct decision by referee Steve Gray. He suggests that emotions in the moment may have clouded judgment, but overall, the stoppage was justified given Franklin's condition.
Jermaine Franklin's response to getting stopped. I was in the ring obviously after, and his team were livid about the stoppage, and I guess that's because they've never seen him get stopped before. And I was like, guys, I even went over to one of his camp, and I was like, when you watch it back, you'll know it was a very good stoppage. Like, Steve Gray got it spot.
Counterpunch Boxing talks about confusion after the stoppage, saying Franklin may not have fully understood what was happening in the moment. He questions whether Franklin was actually able to continue or just reacting after taking heavy shots. The commentator is unsure about his explanation and suggests it could be post-fight confusion. Overall, it keeps the debate open about whether Franklin's reaction was real clarity or just damage from the fight.
We could see how it was, unless he's seen or looked up and seen the ref wave it off, and he just kind of laid there for a while. But he said, well, I felt I could get up, but they stopped the fight. I don't know if that's the case. I can't rock with that. I don't know if he intentionally lied or whatever. Maybe he...
Daniel Dubois calls it a solid stoppage and gives credit to the referee for making the right call. He says Franklin is a tough opponent who was brought to test Moses Itauma properly. Dubois mentions slight talk of fatigue, but believes Itauma still found the right shots at the right time. He ends by praising Itauma as a strong young prospect with real potential in the heavyweight division.
It was Jermaine's a crafty operator, but he got that stoppage. That was a great stoppage.
A lot of people are saying, look, Moses, he started to blow a little bit. Did you see that he was maybe tiring, or did you feel like there was that consistency of intensity in his fight?
It's a fight. He found the shots. What can I say? Great prospect.
Adam Smith is extremely impressed with Moses Itauma, saying he could become a generational heavyweight talent. He compares the excitement around him to greats like Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, and Tyson Fury. Smith believes there is something special and different about Itauma. His skill, power, and presence make him stand out, and he feels the heavyweight division has a new rising star.
I think he's got the ability to be a generational great. I really do. I haven't been this excited about a heavyweight in a long time. I mean, I grew up with Mike Tyson, and of course he just brought something thrilling to the heavyweight division. Yeah, we've had Lennox Lewis, who I think is our greatest heavyweight, obviously Tyson Fury, AJ, David Haye, and many others. But there's something about this guy. There's something about Moses.
Ben Davison explains that Franklin was always expected to bring rounds and not be an easy opponent. He says people misunderstood their comments about the fight. In their gym, they already know Itauma's real level and capabilities. Davison praises Franklin's quality and says the fight helped prove Itauma's development. Overall, he is confident this performance shows Itauma is improving step by step.
With it again, when we said Jermaine Franklin would be able to bring rounds, we didn't say that because the walking punch bag. No walking punch bag is going to go rounds with Moses Itauma. We said that because of his quality, and that's what people was missing. Maybe it was the way that we was articulating it, but he's a very, very good fighter. But that's nothing that we see that week in, week out, day in, day out at the gym, so we know what he's capable of.
Fabio praises Moses Itauma's overall skill set, saying he has far more tools and variety than most young heavyweights. He highlights Itauma's ability to mix combinations, vary attacks, and break opponents down with constant pressure rather than relying on a single punch. According to him, Itauma's style is about sustained offense, picking shots upstairs and downstairs until the referee is forced to intervene. He believes this diversity in attack makes him extremely dangerous, and once everything clicks together with a game plan, he will be very hard to deal with in the heavyweight division.
I think Moses just has so many more skills, tools in his toolbox, so much more diversity in the way he's going to go about things. That plus a game plan and putting his punches together, combinations. It's going to be a multitude. It's not going to be one punch bang. It's going to be a multitude of up, down, picking this shot, picking that shot, just a barrage on top. And I think the ref will step in.
Lawrence Okolie praises Moses Itauma's performance, saying he showed great timing, punch selection, and composure throughout the fight. He notes that Franklin is a clever and durable opponent who managed to give Itauma valuable rounds, which is important for his development. Okolie believes this was the right level of opposition to test him properly at this stage. Even after being hurt, Franklin showed resilience, but Itauma's power and skill were ultimately too much. He concludes that Itauma handled the challenge well and continues to prove himself as a serious young heavyweight prospect.
Yeah, same way that we all kind of saw and expected. He's a fantastic young fighter with great punch power, great punch selection and timing, so he eventually got the shot off.
He was looking for the rounds, and Jermaine Franklin gave him some good rounds in there. Did you feel like, that was the right level of opponent that he needed for his career?
The guy's very cute, very clever, blocked well, slipped well, got up from the first knockdown. He gave him everything that he could, and Moses was just a bit too much.
Dev Sani questions whether Moses Itauma truly answered all the questions going into the fight, suggesting there are still areas to evaluate despite the strong performance. He notes that Itauma was taken beyond 2 rounds, even reaching the 5th, which is different from his recent quick finishes. While there was a moment where Franklin looked active and competitive, Sani believes Itauma still ended the fight in dominant fashion. He also addresses post-fight complaints about the stoppage, but overall describes it as a flawless performance that ended with Franklin being completely overwhelmed.
It was all about answering some questions, right? Did he really answer any? I don't know. I don't know. We got to see him go beyond 2 rounds, which was a bit different to recent fights. It extended to the 5th, and yeah, maybe he was tired at one point. I don't know. He didn't look tired when he knocked him out, did he? I mean, I think it was just a flawless performance from Moses Itauma, and he sent Jermaine Franklin packing, really. I mean, I saw Franklin was complaining afterwards as well, in the corner were complaining about the...
Eddie Hearn says everyone expected Moses Itauma to win early, but even he was surprised at how quickly the stoppage came. He explains that while he predicted a finish inside 3 rounds, the actual outcome came even sooner than expected. Hearn reflects on how dangerous Itauma looked from the opening exchanges, with Franklin unable to settle into the fight. Overall, he highlights that the performance exceeded expectations in terms of speed and dominance, reinforcing how quickly Itauma is progressing in the heavyweight division and how hard he is becoming to handle.
Listen, there's everyone, like, it's a mixture between, that was a mismatch, and you can't have a build-up where people are going, oh, that's an interesting fight, and then he does that and everyone goes, it's a mismatch. We all knew that early on in the fight, there was every chance that could happen, but I didn't expect even it to happen that quick. I thought Moses would stop him inside 3 rounds.
Spencer Oliver explains that Moses Itauma answered important questions in this fight by going deeper into rounds than usual, reaching round 5. He notes that Franklin offered more resistance and ambition than expected, which made the contest more valuable for Itauma's development. Oliver also points out that Itauma took some clean shots, showing he can be tested, but his execution and finishing ability remained strong. He praises both Franklin's durability and Itauma's performance, saying the finish was well-timed and well executed, proving his ability to close fights effectively even under pressure.
Answered what we need to know. Listen, he got more rounds in than what we've seen him in previous fights. He hasn't been past 2 rounds for a number of fights now. So we see him going to round 5, which was good. We see him get hit with some shots, which was good. There was more ambition from Jermaine Franklin than I was expecting, but there was also more durability than I was expecting as well. The execution, the finish.
Ben Davison reveals that the corner's strategy was always to break Franklin down gradually rather than chase a quick knockout. He explains that they expected a tough, durable opponent who would require patience and sustained pressure. According to Davison, they told Itauma to soften him up with consistent work, which could eventually lead to a stoppage or even a one-punch finish. He confirms that this exact plan played out in the fight, showing Itauma's discipline and ability to follow instructions. Overall, he praises the execution and the controlled approach that led to success.
Figure that. We actually mentioned to him in the corner that it'll be a breakdown job, and that we actually said that doesn't mean that that won't lead to a one-punch knockout, but you're going to have to soften him up to get there.
Moses Itauma reflects on his preparation, saying he spent around 14 weeks in camp getting ready for this fight. He explains that despite all the outside noise and predictions about a knockout, he stayed focused and didn't let the hype affect him. Itauma emphasizes that he trained diligently, followed the plan, and remained disciplined throughout. He credits his preparation for delivering the knockout he had worked for, not just something handed to him. Overall, he highlights the importance of hard work, staying grounded, and not getting carried away by expectations, showing maturity beyond his years in handling pressure at heavyweight level.
Nah, man, I'm appreciative. Like, I've been in camp for what, 14 weeks, so I prepared very diligently for him. And like, I know everybody was saying that I'm gonna knock him out, but I can't believe that. I can't believe into the hype. I can't feed into it. I trained hard. I prepared for him diligently, and I got the knockout I trained for. Not what I deserve, but what I trained for.
Dave Allen breaks down Moses Itauma's movement and ring intelligence, focusing on what he does without throwing punches. He explains how Itauma controls distance, especially when Franklin tries to initiate attacks. Allen highlights his ability to step in and out of range smoothly, making it difficult for opponents to time or pressure him effectively. He also notes how Itauma's constant movement over rounds is physically and mentally draining for opponents, forcing them to expend unnecessary energy. According to Allen, this subtle control of space and rhythm is what makes Itauma so difficult to deal with over longer fights, beyond just his power.
What he does when he's not punching, it's what he does when Franklin punches. Franklin feints, he throws the jab, but Moses Itauma's taking a step or two out of distance, he's bouncing out of distance and back in. It's very hard to do his heavyweight over 10 rounds to really expend that kind of energy.
Frank Warren praises Jermaine Franklin's toughness, noting he has shared the ring with elite names like AJ and was never stopped before this fight. He highlights Franklin's boxing intelligence, patience, and ability to take clean shots while still trying to respond. Warren describes how Franklin was still dangerous, occasionally loading up big punches despite being under pressure. However, he emphasizes that the finishing shots from Moses Itauma were decisive and brutal, ultimately ending the contest. He also mentions the controversy from Franklin's corner, who felt the stoppage was premature, but Warren supports the referee's decision, calling the finish clean and justified.
Look, he's tough. We know who he was in with, a tough guy, never been stopped. 4 years ago, AJ couldn't stop him. Gillian, 4 years ago, couldn't stop him. He was very patient. He took some really good shots, and you could see him a couple of times loading up to throw that right hand. He boxes well. He's got a good boxing brain. He does his work, gets out, and then comes back, he's back on you. But the shots were brilliant. Those two shots, he knocks him out with the first one, and caught him with another hard shot going down. Face down, and the corner is screaming that it shouldn't have been stopped there. No.
Sean Zittel analyzes Moses Itauma's technical performance, praising how he set up the knockout with intelligent feints and body work. He highlights Itauma's use of straight left hands to the body and disciplined jab, which prevented Franklin from settling into the fight. Zittel also notes that Itauma didn't become reckless or overcommit, instead maintaining control and composure throughout. He acknowledges Franklin as a durable and experienced opponent who has gone the distance with top fighters like Anthony Joshua, yet he struggled to land anything meaningful here. Overall, Zittel emphasizes Itauma's balance, composure, and smart southpaw fundamentals as key reasons for his dominant performance.
He set up that knockout beautifully, man. He used his feints, he did invest to the body, straight left hands to the body, and as he went on, those kind of southpaw Usykian feints, he started using them. Didn't get away from his jab, didn't get greedy. Itauma is a really good veteran. Well, Franklin is a savvy veteran. He's a crafty veteran who we know went the distance with Joshua, bloodied Joshua's nose, gave him some fits, landed some good shots, and he really never landed anything of consequence on Itauma, because Itauma's like, I mean, there was some Shakur-like stuff from Itauma as a southpaw with that good balance, that good base.
The fight leaves one big question hanging in the air. How far can Moses Itauma really go in the heavyweight division? His performance showed power, composure, and maturity, but also raised curiosity about what happens when he steps up against elite-level opposition. If Itauma continues on this path, he could quickly become one of the most dangerous young contenders in boxing, possibly even a future world champion. But if Jermaine Franklin had managed to turn things around, it would have completely changed the narrative of this rising star. Now it's your turn. Was this a statement win from Moses Itauma, or was Franklin just not at his best? Do you see Itauma becoming a future heavyweight king, or is there still more he needs to prove? Drop your thoughts in the comments and join the debate.